So if I stall out, stay with me. Stay with me. You know how Wi-Fi is, but this is important, and you know the enemy gonna come. But blocking your blessings can be as easy as you trying to defend yourself. I always go back to the thing that I learned 10 years ago. I was in a situation, y'all type in the browser, block your blessings. I was in a situation about 10 years ago, and I had to make a decision not to defend myself. It was really hard because I knew that I hadn't done anything that was deserving of what I was dealing with and what I was going through. But at the same time, the Lord came to me. I mean, I was broken, y'all. I was towed down from the flow down. And the Lord told me, he said, do not say a word. Don't lift a finger. He said, I'm gonna fight your battles for you. And I really, really didn't understand that. I didn't understand how God was going to fight my battles for me in that particular situation. But I did 100% back all the way off. And I let him do it. But let me take you through the word of God. All of us have heard the story of King David. Now, y'all remember David came on the scenes when he fought Goliath, who was a Philistine. God gave him all this, he done fought bears, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, he had been to the Wizard of Oz and did all this. David was the bomb. He was a bomb from the beginning. But somewhere or another, some things happened, especially when God ripped the kingdom out of Saul's hand and, told David, hey, you're going to be the chosen one. David wasn't really thinking about that when he was a kid. He was ambitious. He was excited. He loved to do what he did. He was just, his brothers used to think he was a show off. But before I move any further, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Amisha Lee. I am the Misha Lee from themishalee.com. I'm a salon owner of 25 years. I've owned 4 salons, and each one of them have made over $100,000 a year. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to experience that in my lifetime. I'm an educator. I've educated hundreds of people in beauty schools and online and offline in business and how to build a clientele and keep client retention. Of course, I'm a award-winning stylist. I have competed a couple of times. I got a few trophies back here somewhere in the background. It's really funny. You work so hard to compete in these competitions. Trophies be gathering up dust. Really crazy. I'm a master hairstylist, and one of my specialties at Akachi Beauty Salons, which is in wonderful Albemarle, North Carolina, is short hair and hair loss prevention, hair extensions. Of course, we really focus on giving healthy hair to our clients. I'm a certified Christian counselor, and I am a child of God, and I am 100% human. And let me tell you something. Somebody say, I am always trying to make sure that the people that I know is always winning. That's my thing. That's what I do. So we all want to be understood. So now that we got that out of the way, we all want to be understood. We all want to be heard, but we all want to win. And don't nobody like losing. Nobody like losing. So we have a right in everything that's written and everything that we know to defend ourselves. But sometimes you defending yourselves block your blessing. Sometimes you defending the wrong thing. You fighting the wrong battle. And the people that you're trying to defend yourself from is the people that you need to go to get your answer. I know that don't sound comfortable, but it ain't nothing about life that follows a prescription that we got to feel good every time we need to get in a place where we need to grow, where we need to get what we need to get. There are people out here that you are blocking yourself from. You defending yourself from them. And a lot of times it's based off of what people said, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit later. It's based off of what somebody done told you. And you're blocking your blessing for God listening to somebody else. So let me go back to the word. So at some point, y'all know that, Saul didn't do what God told him to do. He told him to go down here and kill up all these people. Saul was hard-headed. He was puffed up. He was used to doing how he wanted to do. And God just kind of, let him have his way. But God was very specific about this for a reason, which later on down the line, you get to see all that stuff, which even now impacts where we are in our society today. But at the end of the day, Saul didn't do what God said. God said, okay, you know what? You ain't fit. I'm going to find me somebody else. David pops up on the scene, kills Goliath. Saul tells David, hey, you're going to be the king of Israel one day. David like, all right, whatever. So David goes and he does all these things. And over this whole period of time, Saul is beginning to develop jealousy. He gets jealous of David, winning, because he was used to people chanting his name. So the enemy... Come on, y'all. Let's talk about the enemy. See, we don't want to talk about stuff that's real. But I'm going to tell you something. Whether I mention online or not, honey, the devil is real, whether you believe it or not. He 100. And he ain't playing with you. He ain't playing with what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And he ain't trying to stop and be light on no work when it pertains to you. So, things had got really, really tense between them. And Saul got to a point like, you know what? Let me go and take him out. He got distorted. He got distorted in his thinking. God had already took the kingdom from him a long time ago. The process had to go the way that it had to go. But in his mind, he felt like, well, maybe this ain't what it's going to be. And I have to think that because when it got to the place, like the day before he got ready to die, he went to see that soothsayer. Samuel's like, why are you waking me up from the dead? He said, God already took that from you a long time ago. I think that Saul, like a lot of times, people who get in a place where they don't realize that they have done so much crap. See, sometimes people don't think that you're going to reap what you sow, but the word don't never lie. They build that stuff up, and they think because God ain't came and dealt with them right then and there and ain't dealt with that foolishness, that they can keep going on the way they're going. But you have to learn how to trust God and know that you got to stay in your position and stop trying to fight those type of people in those type of situations, because those situations will be rectified. It might not be in your timing, and it might not be how you want it to do. But you have to be focused on the thing that you're supposed to be focused on. This is what gets you off of focus from being able to see the progress that you're making. This is the thing that causes you to be second guessing yourself, wondering what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. We got a lot of stuff that's going on. And as we look into the next year, everybody begins to shift at this time of year into that thinking, okay, it's a brand new clean sheet of paper. Let me tell you something. I have a new year every month. Sometimes dog near every week, sometimes every day. I don't wait till the end of the year to get that feeling that I need to make a change or that I can do better. Some people need that pivot point, but I'm going to tell you, you got to get in a space in your mind where you are willing to allow it to be renewed as much as you possibly can. Because if you don't, you'll start looking and say, well, I'm not making no progress. Progress sometimes is very small. The gains that we get sometimes are very small. But let me tell you something. Just like David, a lot of us don't realize that the people or that the situations that we're trying to fight against, that the things that we trying to that we battling and trying to hold our ground on are things that God had already said that he will fight your battles for you. But you standing here trying to fight for yourself and you blocking your blessing. David understood a lot, but one thing he didn't get in his head is that Saul went from being God inspired and God led to devil driven. When people get uninspired by God and begin to be driven by the enemy, you got to be able to see that transition in them. You got to be able to see that transition in them, and it ain't nowhere in the word that tells you that you're supposed to have to fight anything, because you're already a winner, number one. You're already a winner. The battle is done. The battle in the war is won. It's won. But when people are driven in their minds and their head and in the things that they do to come against you, to try to hinder you, to try to down you, or to try to manipulate a way around, you got to understand, they ain't playing. And see, you got to look past them, because the enemy ain't playing. He ain't playing with you. You're not able to see what it is that you could see because you're so focused on what it is that's coming at you. And let me tell you something. The higher up that you go, the more responsibility that you get. You don't get no breaks. I mean, it was one time, I promise, on everything. It was one time this year, I had stuff hitting me back to back. I was like, Lord, what? Did somebody open up the whole funnel, the whole tunnel, the whole river of let's go over here and mess with Misha and attack her and let everything that could possibly happen. But in the midst of all that, I was able to maintain peace. And it wasn't based off of me or anything. It's just that, and I guess some of it has to do with age, maybe not. But I think that I learned, well, I know for a fact that I learned at some point in life, you got to understand that it ain't God that's trying to necessarily test me and make me strong, but the devil is driven. The enemy is driven to take you out of here. He driven to take you out of here because you fulfilling your purpose and you doing what you're supposed to do. And you, thank you guys for sharing. You doing what you're supposed to do and you being where you need to be is going to set so many people free and put people in places. Give them jobs, give them opportunity. You can't be walking around here in fear no more. You got to let that go. Because you best believe the enemy ain't coming at you with no game. You can't keep trying to fight. You can't keep trying to fight for yourself. Because you fighting for yourself is blocking your blessing. Let me explain this to you. When Saul went after David, he got 3,000, not 30, not 300, 3,000 of Israel's best soldiers to come after one person. And you being attacked like that, you feel like from the left to the right, your money being drained. You get hit here, get hit here. The enemy is not playing. He ain't got no space to play with you right now. He ain't got no space to let up on you, because him letting up on you is going to give you rest. And when you get rest, you already know what's going to happen. But see, you got to learn how to get that rest in God. You got to learn how to understand that whenever he coming for a reason. While you out here trying to defend yourself, you fighting the wrong people. There are actually people that are in your face every single day that's right here that you won't even go and get the help that you need from, that you won't even reach out to get the help that you need from, because you're so busy fighting this battle that ain't even yours to fight. You trying to defend yourself against something that ain't even exist. Listen, you know, the Bible in 1 Samuel 24 talks about, David, he got to a place where, Saul was in the cave. He went in there and cut the hem of his robe and, to prove to Saul that, look, I love you. I didn't kill you. Look, I got your robe. Look at this. But see, I tend to believe that it went a little bit more like how Misha would have had it. They said that his men told him, today is the day that God is going to deliver the enemy in your hand. Now, David already knew that you ain't supposed to touch God's anointed and do no harm to them. Everybody know that. Everybody know that. That's why people talking about preachers and stuff don't know what you be thinking about, because that don't make it less real. But he understood that it was nothing he can do. He knew that him harming or doing anything to Saul would be a blatant disrespect to God, which will put him in the same boots that Saul. And so we think that because of the way that our stuff is written, that it might be different. No, you can't. Certain situations, you ain't even supposed to be fighting. You ain't even supposed to put your mouth on. You ain't supposed to put your hand on. But being around the wrong people, they'll get in your head. His men was talking. They said that. Go read it. Go read it. It's in First Samuel 24 chapter. It said his men. God didn't say that. His men told him today is the day. They start prophesying to him. Prophesying. Telling him, this is the day that God gonna deliver. See, you got people out here telling you, this is the time God gonna do this. It's your time. He gonna take them out. See, stop listening to them, because they not God inspired. They devil driven. And I know they was sitting in his camp, but that was not God talking to him. Just like it ain't God talking to you. God is not telling you not to do this. That ain't him. That's them. And it might be a family member, might be somebody you know, but that's not him. But David, because he was tired. Sometimes we be tired. We be worn down. They was out living in the rocks. They had been running. He was tired. Them men were frustrated. The people around you that unfortunately might be giving you the wrong information, trying to push you into a place to come against somebody that God has already predestined and anointed. And even though God removed that kingdom from Saul, it was still going to be on God's timing that Saul was taken out of here, not on David's timing. His soldiers was used to winning. They were used to winning. They were not used to living in that space that they were living in. Hey, babe, how you doing? They were not used to that. They were not used to being in a place where they had to run because they was afraid of dying. They was used to going and running up on people and taking them completely out of there. This is what they were used to. And so they were frustrated. They was tired. I could just imagine me and my crew somewhere, and we sitting here, and we used to winning. We used to doing this. And I remember one time I did a hair competition, and we knew when we walked up in there, we was on point. We had it on lock. We had it on lock. But the enemy wanted to win that right over there in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they cheated. They cheated, and they allowed the cheating to happen. And my people became discouraged when they seen that. They were frustrated because we had put so much into it. But I understood that it wasn't my battle to fight. It wasn't up to me to fight and defend us, even in that situation. Turn right around and won a state competition. So at the end of the day, His men was tired and he was listening to them, went in there cutting it off, and then immediately his conscience started bothering him because he knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong. And that's what happened to us. We'll make these moves. We'll say things and be in situations. We'll listen to the gossip. We'll listen to people say stuff. And then as soon as we go home, we be sitting there feeling bad. But what are you doing about it? You sitting up here trying to fight and trying to be a part of something that God ain't even told you to be a part of. He just told you to sit back and hold on and wait. So in order for you to move in the space that you need to move, moving forward, and for those of you, you know who you are. You know who this is for. If you say it's for you, say it's for this for me. Put it in the brown, say for me. Listen, you are going to have to stop listening to those people around you trying to give you instructions and trying to prophesy to you and tell you things that God ain't even put into play yet. Even though it looked like it's 100% him, I'm going to need you to take some time to sit back and say to yourself, am I trying to defend myself and about to block my blessing? Because had he killed Saul, he would have completely shut his whole blessing down. He'd have shut it down. I believe he would have. He would have shut it down. That'd have been it. Because what would have made him any different than what Saul had done? God didn't tell him to go kill Saul. And Saul, at that point, in David's eyes and according to what was set up, was still God's anointed until God removed him out of that position. And when God removed him out of that position, then David was able to get in that position. But it wasn't going to be because he was tired, he was hungry, he was cold, he was fearing. Them men was tired. They was ready to go home. They was ready to go lay up with their wives and girlfriends, go see their children. They out here in the wilderness running and hiding. These are some of the greatest fighters ever. Running and hiding. And it wasn't a whole bunch of them. And here comes Saul with 3,000. Them men was afraid. Them like, man, go on and kill that man so we go on to the house. Think about it. I mean, if your friends will tell you that. So how do I relate this to us in business? How do I relate to this to us in the salon? At the end of the day, we're all business people and we all have a specific goal. We all have something that God has called us to do. But you have to understand that there are people that are specifically put in place during this season. Not saying that God took anything away from them, but there are people put in this place in this season that are here for you to do the things and to help develop you. But you're not going to be able to get what you need from them people because of people trying to get you to fight, trying to get you to go against all this back and forth. See, I don't do all that little messy stuff that a lot of people do. You know, and I'm fine with not having 100,000. I'm good because my 5,000, my 10,000, my Facebook presence right now is right at about 10, 11,000. I'm fine with that because guess what? Those are people that I can help and reach out to. At the end of the day, something got to matter to you. You can't be all about the fight because if you all about the fight and all about trying to get at them, you're going to block your blessing. And your blessing oftentimes hinges on your obedience. And I would say all the time hinges on your obedience. Not the obedience that we just see verbatim, but understanding that if this person is right here, that's not where I'm at. Sometimes it's just a matter of respect. So don't feel any kind of way when you see it look like it's slowing up. You gotta sit back and let God do what it is that He's trying to do for you. You got to, when God tell you He gonna make your enemy your footstool, you got to understand this. I want you to really think about this now. Think about this. If the Lord tells you that He's gonna make your enemy your footstool, in order for anything to get up under your feet, it got to get close to you. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, I have several things that I prop my feet up on. My kids, they're so sweet. They'll rub my feet when I get out of when I come home from the salon and stuff. And help me to feel better. But I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nothing like taking your feet and propping it up high. But in order for something to get up under your feet, there's a few things that got to happen. Number one, you got to understand, you got to trust that that thing ain't going to try to flip you over. Come on. Come on with it. Somebody say, flip me over. You got to trust that whoever God is making your footstool ain't going to try to grab your feet and flip you over. If you ever wrestled or been in a fight, people can grab a lot of stuff. People can grab your arm. arms and you can kind of maneuver with it. They can grab your shoulders. You can kind of wiggle out of it. They can catch you by the waist and try to jack you up. You still got this free, but it's something about when somebody snatch you by the ankles, you about can't do nothing. Think about it. If somebody catch you by the ankles the right way, they can drag you all over the place, and it ain't nothing you could, unless you got something to grab onto, because your arms ain't long enough to reach anybody that's down there at your feet. Now, as short as I am, you would think so, but it doesn't matter how tall you are. So, number one, when God tell you he's going to make your enemy your footstool, that means that whoever it is, he about to make your footstool, there's going to be a measure of reliance that you're going to have to put that God got this in his hands. Because ain't too many, I'm telling you, I done been in a place. Thank you so much, Miss Black. I have been in a place, and I ain't gonna never forget this. When my pure whole 100% enemy came to me in need, and the need that they had was gonna cause them to be right up under my breast. And I said, oh, no, you won't, because I remember when you was trying to kill me. Oh, no. I started fighting. I was like, I'm telling you, man, I was like, no, get back. Get back. It's about to go down. I mean, I was like right there. And the Holy Spirit said, but God said he was going to make your enemy your footstool. And I'm like, God, how that work? Like, what I'm supposed to do? Like, you want me to rely on... God said, I ain't asked you to rely on nobody. I want you to trust in me. See, this is a space that we got to learn how to function in. This is a space that we got to learn how in business that when somebody come to us, whether they somebody we think that we supposed to be a part of or somebody we look at like, you better get that out your head because you fighting against that is blocking your blessing. I had to literally go deep down in my whole soul, my mind, will, and emotions and rationalize. It took me a few days to get my mind wrapped around that. I was like, you mean to tell me that I got to allow this person into the closest space of me in one of my most vulnerable place in order for you to give me rest? God, could you not have sent somebody else? I mean, like, can you let somebody come? But see, here's the thing. That's the known enemy. The unknown enemy is the one that I should have been thinking about, but I wasn't. But at the end of the day, I had to really bring that to me and understand that whenever God begins to fight your battles, when he begins to bring people into your space and make your enemy your footstool, your enemy your footstool, your enemy your footstool, you got to learn to trust and rely on God. You got to let that logical thinking go on. You got to stop listening to what people are telling you. You got to block all that out. Because my sister and family was like, what in the sugar honey iced tea are you doing? Why are you doing that? But let me tell you something. The best thing I ever did was take that leap of faith and trust God. Because when I tell you, I have not had a I never even knew how much rest you can get when God make your enemies your footstool. See, and this is a place where we learn how to trust God. We trust his timing. We trust what he's doing. And then come to realize, and this is being honest, the thing that I thought was my enemy and that was devil driven, yes, it was, but it had even experienced a deliverance. He had gotten a place where his mind was together. So at the end of the day, when you look around and you say, why can't I seem to see the progress that I know I need to be making? Ask yourself, have you put yourself in a position where you allow people to try to tell you to fight against something that God hadn't ordained for you to fight against? Have you turned away the footstool and the rest and the help that God has given you? He bought it to you. He bought it to you. But you so busy, bowled up like I was at, man, look, I ain't no little girl. I got these rotten hour hands. I ain't got no nails on. Like, we can do this. Yes, I'm older and I'm grown, but I'm not stupid. You have to get to a point to where you let your guard down and you have to trust God. Even even when you know they done pursued you with the best of the best. And see, let me tell you something. The devil ain't playing with you. I'm going to tell you one more time before I get off here, because I'm finna get off. The devil's not playing with you. You think about Jesus. Jesus could have defended himself at any place and any time. Think about it. With a snap of, just with a thought, a word, just a wave of his hands, could have defended himself at any place and time. He could have, at any place and time, pick and chose who he wanted to do for what. I heard somebody say the other day, oftentimes we get discouraged because we give and we give and we give so much. And then when you in this space where you waiting for your deliverance, where you waiting for your next, when you're trying to grow and you expecting people to come through and they not showing up. Think about when Jesus got crucified. Who was there? Where all them 3,000 people was that he fed with them fish? Where was Lazarus that he done raised from? Where was all them people at? I don't ever recall hearing that any of them was there. Just a few. Especially whenever he rose up, it wasn't but 2 people. 2. So stop looking at the numbers. Get them numbers out your head. Start focusing on allowing God to bring into your space and start humbling yourself down and going to the places that you need to go to get the help that you need. Stop fighting your own battles because you're blocking your blessings. Allow him to fight for you. Allow the footstools that he put in front of you, that he done gave to you. Put your feet up and rest, because let me tell you something, you won't regret. Listen. You might regret a lot of things, but that won't be one of them. It won't. It will not be one of them. You have to learn how to take the rest that he give you. Stop trying to formulate your own plan. Stop listening to everybody trying to tell you to go here, go do that, fight this, do that. Them people have you so far away from what you're supposed to do. And when you get out there, ain't nobody going to be there with you but you. Ain't nobody going to be out there with you but you. Stop fighting your own battles. I don't know who this is for. Allow God to fight for you. And then when he brings you your rest, take that rest. Let the fear go. Let what they did go. Let all that stuff go. Take the rest. Take the help. Take what it is that he giving you, because he giving you his best. It might not look like his best because it ain't the person you thought it was going to be. It ain't this. You got to be willing to take what it is that he give you, and I promise you it's going to work out for you. So I hope this has helped you to really get some focus today and get to where you're going. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Misha Lee. You can follow me across all social media on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Periscope. And I'm on TikTok sometime, but look like TikTok ain't going to be around too long. I was listening to, the news. I listen to it every day. But listen, go follow me on Instagram at The Misha Lee. And also go follow me on Instagram at Under Your Weave. I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right, YouTube, make sure you go follow me on Facebook and Instagram.